All right, everybody. It's Zoe and Jay Azabuki here, your co-host for Realtor Lender Mastermind. And we're excited about today's interview with Rosalind. And so we're just going to get right into it. Rosalind, thank you for being on. It's great to see you. How you doing?
Thank you. I'm doing great. Thanks. Thanks
Awesome.
for the invite.
Yeah. So for those of y'all who haven't checked this out before, it's basically just we're just talking generation activity, lead generation activity, and everything else building up to that, how to build our business. And so Rosalind has been in working as a real estate agent for how long? You been doing it, Rosalind? It's a good number of years.
21 years in May.
21 years.
Wow.
21 years. So we've got a lot to pick your brains on. If you've been in it for 2 decades plus, I love it.
Yes, I was 12 when I started, just so you know.
Wow. That's awesome. That is awesome. That. So why don't you start off by just kind of telling us what got you into the business initially? I mean, obviously you were young and going after it, but what got you, what attracted you to the business initially, and kind of talk to us about those early years of your career?
Well, actually, there was one person that said I would be a great realtor. And this was after I graduated from college. My goal was, I went through the accounting program at Colorado State University. And my goal was to set myself up to get to law school. So I picked the accounting program, which was a very difficult program. And then shortly after I graduated from college, then I went through a divorce. I was a single parent at the time, so I had to go into the workforce, and realized that accounting was definitely not for me, and I couldn't afford to get to law school just yet. So I went into the workforce, and I came across a realtor actually from La Junta, Colorado, and she says, you know what, you would be a great realtor. And I said, really? Okay. So I went to real estate school and got my license, and I've been doing it since.
Nice.
It was that simple.
But looking back on it, I actually was exposed to real estate. My grandfather, we lived in Rocky Ford, Colorado, which was a small farming town. And he bought and sold houses all the time. And I remember my grandmother, she just had this thing about him buying houses, saying, he bought another house. And so it was just being exposed to real estate. I didn't know it at the time, but looking back on it, I'm thinking, well, I grew up around real estate. I used to see him buying and selling properties all the time. So of course I would be a great realtor because this is all I know.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, so I look back on it and I think, okay, law school was my #1 priority, but I'm still practicing law to a certain extent. And I think I probably make more money than some attorneys, and I'm happy, and I love the flexibility, and I don't think I could be doing anything else other than real estate.
Yeah.
Love it.
That's awesome.
I was just going to ask you, you kind of jumped into it there briefly. What's kept you in this long, 20, 25 years in the business? What are the 2 or 3 things that have gotten you here?
Well, obviously the flexibility, running my own business. I'm very independent. I'm a self-motivator. I get up and go. I'm normally up by 3, 4 o'clock in the morning to start my day, and I plan. I'm very proactive as opposed to reactive. I get a little flustered and frustrated if I become a little reactive to my day because I feel like I should have more control over it. But that doesn't always work out as planned.
Yeah.
And just the lifestyle that I've been able to have because of real estate, the people that I have met, just everything that I've learned. 21 years, I think to myself, 21 years, it doesn't feel like I've been doing it that long. But my daughter's 27 now, and she's now a realtor. And so now, obviously I have been doing it that long, but it's just a perpetual business that just keeps going every day. It's every day, every week, every month you look back and it's like it's been 10 years. And so to me, it's not a job. It's a passion that I have to help people. And at the same time, the byproduct is, the flexibility, the money that I'm able to have because of this career. Just absolutely love it. And I couldn't see myself doing anything else.
Yeah. I have several questions, but let me
Sure.
start with, you mentioned that you're up at 3 or 4
Yes.
in the morning.
Yes.
That's incredible. I'm up at 3:53. I haven't heard anyone who's gotten up earlier than that. So up at
No, but
3.
Jay, to interject, the question is how often is she
Right,
up every year?
that's where I'm going. So I wanted to see, how long have you been having that kind of discipline, getting up that early? And then how many times a week do you wake up that early? I'm just curious.
So I wake up at about 3:45. My alarm, sometimes my body clock wakes me up at that time, but if
That's
I'm a
awesome.
little bit tired, then my alarm clock will wake me up. But I'm definitely up. I have my gym clothes on at 4 o'clock, and I'm downstairs at my home office, and I'm on the computer until about 6, and I'm just planning my day. By 6 o'clock, I'm at the gym. So I go to the gym pretty much Monday through Friday, just for the sanity, for the just having something. That's my hobby, I guess, is just going to the gym and trying to stay healthy. But I do wake up. If I don't wake up, if I'm super tired and I tend to oversleep, I wake up a little frustrated
Yeah.
because I feel like I should have been up,
Yeah.
because I'm so competitive. Here's the thing. I'm so competitive with other people, and I feel like if I'm up early, I'm winning the day while everybody is sleeping. The
Yep.
majority of people are sleeping. And
Yep.
if I sleep in, I feel like people are ahead of me, and that doesn't work for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, um, how often does it happen? I would say it's pretty consistent. Even on Sundays, I might sleep in 1 extra hour on Sundays, but I'm up pretty much every day.
That's
Yeah.
Even
incredible.
on
I'm
Sundays?
in bed by 9:30 though.
Okay,
Okay.
so
Yeah.
that's an early bedtime. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. That's awesome. They say that most successful people, it's not a requirement, right? You can make it wherever you want to get to, without getting up early. But they do say it's a common theme that successful people tend to get up early. So
Sure.
that's interesting.
Yes.
Um, how does that discipline kind of carry through your day? Like, how do you keep what do you do on a daily basis, activity wise? What do you have laid out for yourself to do? And then how do you keep yourself accountable to get that stuff done?
Okay. So that's a great question, because I time block. So
Okay.
my days are pretty typical of being repetitive every single day, except when I'm with my family. So I'll give you an example. So I'm up by 4, on the computer for 2 hours. 6 o'clock, I'm off to the gym. I'm back home by about 7:30. Now that the weather is getting nice and warm, Claudio and I will go for a walk. And then I'm home by 8 o'clock, sending over a to-do list for my assistant. And it's just more of not telling her what to do, but it's just more of just reminding her of specific things that need to get done that day. So then by 10 o'clock, I'm at the office. Between 10 and 12, I lead gen every single day that I'm in the office. And then I do my buyer seller appointments all afternoon until about 5 o'clock. And then I come home. I do have a 4-year-old, so I feel like I need to be home at an early hour so that I can spend family time with him, have dinner with the family, and then I just hang out at home in the evening. I try to avoid showing houses, setting appointments after 5 o'clock. I feel like I've been in the business long enough to where I can pretty much, cut off my day at a certain time, unless I have an exception to a client. But yeah, that's pretty much my day every single day, Monday through Friday.
That's amazing.
Love it.
So I want to go back to kind of that start of getting up and just the personality trait of your competitive nature that makes you do that. I'm curious if has that always been something that you've had, or have you had to kind of develop the discipline along with that natural just feeling like, okay, people are ahead of me, I need to be up? Like, is that something that you have to actually work at to make sure that you're awake, or is it kind of just a natural thing? You're just naturally disciplined in that way?
Yes, I'm naturally disciplined in that way. I look back when I was in middle school. I remember basically planning out my evening. So school would end at 3:30, and my last class, I would write out everything that I would do per hour till I went to bed that night. And it's funny because that sheet of paper must have fell on the floor, and my friend Nicole, and I remember her, and I remembered it so vividly. she picked it up and she looked at it and she started laughing at me. And I looked at her and I said, what? She says, you're crazy. You plan out your whole night. And I said, what's wrong with that? So
Yeah.
I know I've always been like this. It's just now at a bigger level. It's more magnified. And I just feel I'm not your typical real estate agent personality wise, because I'm not super social. And I think that's where the accountant and the attorney personality would come in.
Yeah.
I'm very successful just with the personality that I do have, because I think I'm disciplined. I'm not talented. I just recognize that I need to work hard. I'm like the underdog that just has to come in and, I shock people when I come around, because they're not expecting me to do that is what I
Yeah.
feel. So
Yeah. You
So-
kind of make
so-
up for any lack of talent that you might think you have in just sheer hard work.
yes, I have a great work ethic, and it's all hard work. Everything that I do is earned.
Love it.
And so
Love it.
if you were to talk to somebody about discipline, like this is just a natural thing that you have. I got two questions for you. So I want to lead up into something that I really want you to share with everyone, which is something that your husband went through recently, with, being diagnosed with cancer last year. And I want you to talk about how your discipline kind of translates to handling hardships in business and in personal, whatever you're going through personally. So that's kind of part of the question. But the first part of the question is, what would you advise someone that doesn't feel that they're that good with self-discipline? Like, what would you encourage that person to do?
Well, first of all, I believe in affirmations. So, I have 4 kids, and they range from 27 all the way down to 4. So 27, 19, 16, and 4. And as a mother, I've always told them, you need to act as if. You need to act as if you're the smartest kid in the class. You need to act as if you're the top agent. You need to act as if you can do it. So you have to convince yourself that anything you set your mind to, you're going to do it. And you have to verbalize it, whether it's writing it down, speaking it, looking in the mirror, and convincing your brain that you're going to do something, and whatever it is. And so I'm a goal setter. I consistently set goals. I'm always modifying my goals. I add to the list. I don't wait till the end of the year to write goals. I do it weekly, sometimes a couple of times during the week. I cross things off on my goal list. So what I would encourage people to do is just first thing in the morning, sometimes what I do is I turn on YouTube affirmations, and it's like 3 hours long. So while I'm sitting there on the computer, in the background, it's talking about, I am beautiful, I am this, I am that. And so it's brainwashing my brain while I'm working, and I'm subconsciously hearing this stuff. And so if there's something that you feel like you're lacking, I would just completely just verbalize it, believe it, write it down, put it on your bathroom mirror as you're getting ready for the day, and just totally convince yourself that if you feel like you're lacking, you're going to master it. And
Yeah.
so I tell my kids that all the time. Just, if, sometimes I see the lack of confidence in certain areas of their life. And I just, I preach to them. I verbalize what I just said, to try to help them plow through that and overcome it if they can.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, I'm writing notes here. I've never heard it worded that way. Act as if. I like that. Like, just visualize it, act as if, and sometimes it may come with a little bit of faking it till you make it, but it's
Yes.
like you continue to do that, like you are what you think of yourself.
Yes, exactly. And I'll share with you. So back in 2006, so I started real estate in 2000. And 2006, I created the All-Star team. I named our team the All-Star team. Well, in 2006, I was only 6 years in the business. I was not an all-star realtor. I was not at that production level. And so when I started calling myself the All-Star team, there were a couple of veteran agents that came up to me, men in particular, and they said, "What gives you the right to call yourself an all-star?" And I said, "I do." And one of them said, "I wish I would have thought of that name. That's genius." The other guy just kind of had a little, he was just a little perturbed with me, I guess. But the fact that I named myself the All-Star team, I felt like I had to live up to it because,
Yeah.
and so that just gave me the determination to become an all-star. And so again, my competitive nature, I was always looking at the production numbers every single week, and I still do every Friday. I look to see what production so-and-so has, what I have, how much more I need to put under contract or go meet clients, show properties, listings, whatever. And so I just feel like I'm not number one. We consistently hover around number 5 out of 775 agents. And I'm looking at those 4 ahead of me thinking, okay, all-star, you got to kick it into high gear here. And it's myself, and I have one agent on my team. She's a brand new agent. She's 1 year in the business, and I have a full-time assistant. So it's just 3 of us on the team. One of the other teams ahead of us has about 4 or 5 agents on their team. And so production per agent, yes, we're kicking their rear end, but numbers wise, we're not. So I feel like that all-star just has to, so I have to live up to the name basically.
Yeah.
And I did it to myself, but that's okay.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah. And this, definitely recommend any agent out there that needs to, wants to join a team in Pueblo, Rosalind's team, they're awesome. I can say that from personal experience. Okay. So let's transition into the story about Claudio, your husband. I'd love for you to share just kind of what that journey was like for you all. That's a real legitimate hardship that thankfully played out, has a good ending, but I'm just curious for you to share just what that was like for you and your family, and some of those traits that you kind of alluded to. How did that help you get through that time, and just what you would have to kind of say as some lessons learned from it?
Okay. So he was diagnosed January 6th of 2020. That was right before COVID hit. So a month prior, we were actually visiting family in Texas, and his uncle has stage 4 cancer. And we were there, and we were emotionally sympathetic for what was happening to him. And it just took a toll on the whole family, and we were just part of it. And so we thought, at that point, Claudio and I are very spiritual, and we believe, things happen for a reason. God has our lives planned out. And we came back home, and for some reason he was having some breathing problems. Claudio is in great shape. He was at the time about 230 pounds. He's 5'11". He just looks like kind of like a bodybuilder kind of a guy. And he was having a hard time breathing. So he went to urgent care. Urgent care said, "You need to go to the hospital." And he calls me up and says, "You need to meet me at the hospital." Go to the hospital. And of course, we're thinking we're immune to anything bad happening because we have faith that, I don't know. But anyway, they found a tumor in his chest, the size of a grapefruit. And they said it was cancerous. And when they gave us the news that day, we were so shocked and in disbelief, thinking, wow, we're not immune to being healthy, even though we eat healthy, we drink lots of water, we don't smoke, we don't drink, we just take care of ourselves. So anyway, it was just so devastating for us. So we had to process that. And I think, our faith became even stronger. Our family, my mother's very spiritual. She got all the prayer warriors together, and we just prayed the whole entire year. COVID hit, so he had surgery. I wasn't able to be there with him in the hospital, but I was there for him, taking care of the family. I'm not, he was such a trooper. He did very, very well. Went through chemo, radiation. They took out the tumor. He basically had open chest surgery. Then they damaged his vocal cords. So then he had to have surgery in his neck. So he went through so much, but overall, I would say I had the faith knowing that everything was going to be okay. The family, on the other hand, were just freaking out, thinking that we were going to lose him. But I had faith that everything was going to be okay. I was out there selling real estate, being very cautious not to bring back COVID to him. And everything worked out. As of 3 months ago, he is now officially cancer-free. Yes.
That's incredible.
And he
That's
looks
amazing.
amazing. Yeah, he looks amazing. He has another chance at life. He's back in the gym. And we're getting ready to go on vacation on Friday. So we're super excited to spend time with each other without the kids.
That's awesome. That's awesome. That's awesome. That's incredible. That's pretty inspiring, actually. And yeah, I can feel you on that, on the kids side of things, because my wife is, I mean, that's why I kept muting myself just now. My wife's out there taking care of our 3 kids. But yeah, I mean, you had to do so much, you know, to be at home and manage everything and run your business, and you guys got through that together. And that's incredible how you guys got through that. So yeah, tell them congratulations for us. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Kind of getting back to the business side of things, you mentioned lead generation earlier, and you mentioned that during the day, every day, you basically time block. I can't remember what times you said, but you said that you 10 to 12, and you basically time block and you make sure that happens every single day. 2 questions there. What are you doing for lead generation? And then, with as busy as you are at number 5 out of 775, and it's just one agent. Yes, you have a new one that you're grooming, but really all that production is you. How do you keep yourself from dipping into that 10 to 12 from either end and not doing what you have to do? Because that's like the hardest thing for all of us to do, is to actually, as you get busy, and it's a good problem to have, to keep on doing your lead generation activity. How do you do it?
So we have a sign for our door at the office. So we're at the ReMax office, and we have a 10 by 10 office that we share. So we have the 2 agents, and then I have Amber, who is our full-time assistant. So we have a little sign that says, "Do not disturb lead generation time." So if we have a random agent that's wandering down the hall that just wants to chat, they know not to knock on our door.
I love that. That's incredible.
But you have to be disciplined, and during the lead generation, that you have to realize that's your money making activity. And if you're slacking in lead generation, then your income is going to show at 30 to 60 days later. So it's very important that you hold yourself accountable to that. And sometimes, of course, you know, you'll get a text message or a call on a file that you're currently working, and it's so easy to want to take that call thinking it's going to take 5 to 10 minutes, and it shouldn't be that big of a deal. But honestly, they say statistically that if you're off task, it's going to take 25 minutes to get back on task. So I think of that, if somebody interrupts me, or if I'm doing something that I'm not supposed to be doing during lead generation, then that's going to make my lead generation time either carry into over 12 o'clock, or I'm just not going to have the income that I'm expecting within the 30, 60 days, because I'm not holding true to my lead generation time. So
Wow.
On my days off, I don't do lead generation. So I used to take Thursdays off. So of course I would be completely out of the office. Right now, because we have a second home in Denver, we go every weekend to Denver, and I don't take the weekdays off anymore. I work Monday through Friday. So I take my Saturdays and Sundays off now.
Love it. Love it. That's some serious gold nuggets you just dropped right there. That was incredible. And it's funny, successful people tend to say the same things, but they say it in different ways. You know, successful agents will always tell you that lead generation is everything, right? And we're all in the lead generation business, no matter what we do, because you can't make any money if you don't have anyone buying your product. So we all need leads. And so, but just the level of discipline you have, and the sign, I got to get a sign. That's what I need. Right? Hey, we need a sign. That's what we need. Like one that the kids understand. No, that's incredible. The sign. So I struggle with that because I take calls. See,
Yeah.
like when I'm lead generating and I'm on, you kind of get in a rhythm, and kind of build some momentum. And then you get a call and you think, especially when it's like an incoming potential lead, you take it because you're like, well, this is what I've been working for, and I need to take this call. But then it takes half an hour, then you go price something out, and your lead generation time is gone. So,
Yes.
yeah,
And
I guess.
I have a
Yeah.
lot of tools that I can share with you. And I apologize, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but
Oh, you're good.
this is our proactive sheet. This is what we use during our lead generation time.
Okay.
And we set goals on a weekly basis for lead gen. So like, for example, my goal is 50 calls a week. Personal
Okay.
notes, I should be writing 15 a week. Pop buys 12 a week. Client breakfast lunches 3 a week. Number of people added to my database 2. Number of referrals given 4. Number of referrals received 6. And then business to business meetings. So, and the reason why it's green is because it's a reminder. Well, first of all, I carry a briefcase and all my paper is white. So if I see a green sheet, then I know it's my lead generation proactive sheet. But the other thing is it also means money. So,
Right.
so and then
I
we
like
can
that.
write who we called, the phone number. So if we ever need to do follow-up calls, we can do this the next day. We can follow it up. We get voicemails. But it's just a sheet that we keep on the team that we created ourselves. And it works very well for us. It just holds us accountable. And then we can look at it saying, oh boy, I called 20 people today. I mean, that's a huge accomplishment.
Yeah.
I did 15 personal notes this week or today. It's just more of an accountability.
Yeah.
We use this.
And Rosalind, talk about because some of that terminology that you said there, I've gone through the Buffini program, familiar with that, and I think you've mentioned that in the past that you've done that program as well.
Yes.
Talk about that element of it and how helpful that was for your business, and then the next question is talk about where those people that you call on a daily, where those people you're actually getting them from. How are you finding that network? How are you expanding that network to have that many people to call that often?
Okay. So 21 years ago when I got my real estate license, I didn't know what I didn't know. I didn't have a mentor. I didn't have a coach, which, by the way, I've had a coach for the last 17 years. I went to a Brian Buffini seminar probably 6 months into having my real estate license. So the only thing that I know is to work by referral. So the people that I call is my sphere of influence. Everybody that I know, everybody that I come in contact with, I add them to my database. I just sort and qualify my database. So not everybody is an A+ client, not everybody is a C client, but my goal is to move the C clients into becoming a walking, talking billboard for me. And those are my A+ clients. And I have over 1,000 people in my database, so I have plenty of people to call. And all of those people, I'm not going to sell them or, I'm not going to sell their house or help them buy a house, but those people know people that need to buy or sell a house, correct?
Yeah.
So I'm just tapping into who I know. And I've never door knocked. I've never really actively farmed. I've never, I have a lead generation wheel actually, and I give this to my new agents when they join the team. So basically there's different ways that you can capture leads, but the way that I've always over the last 21 years have captured leads is through tapping into my database. So I have this, it's a visual. I'm a very visual person, so I like to draw things out. So you see that?
Yeah.
Yes.
So I have probate, foreclosure, divorce as a lead avenue, farming, neighborhood, door knocking, expired listings, FSBOs, networking, floor calls, sign calls, open houses, working by referral. And then we were doing Boomtown, which we've canceled, buy leads from Zillow, Realtor. The only thing that I really know that has worked and that's very affordable to work is tapping into the people that I know. I can spend money all the way around here till I'm blue in the face, but this has worked the best for me, which is working by referral. And they're warm leads. So I don't have to convince them to use me.
I love that.
Heard, and I know it's 100% conversion. Whereas cold leads coming from a website, I have to convince these people who I am and how I can help them.
Right.
So,
we have to pay for it first.
right.
They have to hope that your money actually works and brings it, and then you have to convert. Yeah, it's
Yes.
Isn't that funny? Isn't that funny how that works too? Because most of the time you hear, "Oh, you got to spend money to make money," and but it's like, but if you actually start with who you know, like that's the funner relationship, because you're tapping into people that are already fans of you, people that you like. And to me, it's just way more rewarding. And I love that you've actually tested it over time. And you can say with confidence that referrals are that's the most rewarding point of contact.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Works.
And again, sorry, go ahead, Rosalind.
When I get telemarketers calling me, because, we get a ton of calls, and like Zillow or Realtor.com call me, "Oh, would you like to buy 81005 zip code in your area? It just became available." And as soon as I tell them I don't work my business that way, I work by referral, they don't have a script to combat that, nor do they even want to tackle that, because they know it works.
Yeah. And this is,
100%.
guys, everyone listening, whether you're a realtor or loan officer, I mean, this is someone who's, number 5 out of 775, is that 775 in Pueblo, or is that
In the Pueblo market? Yes.
Yeah. So obviously the numbers speak for themselves, that it actually does work to just, stay in the warm circle of people who already know you, trust you. And it's way cheaper that way too. So what do you spend any money on any kind of marketing, or is it all sphere of influence?
Pretty much sphere of influence. I mean, we buy, we can do reverse pop buys at the end of the year. We can do client parties, which we don't do too often. I mean, that's the extent of the money that we do spend. It's just tapping into the people that I do buy $5 gift cards for Starbucks or Dunkin' Donuts.
Mhm.
So whenever anybody sends me a referral, I know it's not much, but it's just the thought that they thought of me and sent me a referral. So I always tell my clients, make sure and call me with their name and number, so I can jump on the phone and call them immediately. Because if they just hand out a business card, it's a very passive lead, very passive referral.
Mhm.
So I may never know that they sent me a referral. So I always teach everyone how to refer me. And once I know that they've referred me, then I just put a $5 gift card in the mail. It hasn't closed, but the fact that they thought of me, I just send them a nice little personal note with a $5 gift card.
That's great.
That's awesome.
That's great.
Something simple but appreciative.
Yeah.
For sure. And then I know you make 50 calls a week and other things. Is there anything automated that you do for people who already know you? So you said you had 1,000 people plus in your database, and this is all people who know Rosalind,
Yes.
right? Either you've done business for them, friends, whoever. Do you do anything on an automated basis, or is it all manual, phone calls, pop buys, things like that, to keep in touch with all these people?
So we have a client appreciation program, and every month we send out 100 items of value. And so we subscribe to Brian Buffini. So he every single month sends us a box of, it could be during tax season, it could be tax related, during the summer, or springtime, how to spring clean, maintain your yard, just something of value. But not everybody gets that. Only the top 100 people in my database get it. And sometimes I take people off that 100 list and I add new people. And that's where it's important to consistently sort and qualify your database to see who's deserving to be in that, client appreciation program. So whenever I meet a new client or just someone in general to add to my database, I always tell them that I can put them on my client appreciation program. And that's how I add them to the database. I get their name, contact information. And then once I send out the mailer, then I follow up about a week later and I ask them, so how did you like that tax item that I sent out? So we have a really quick conversation. And again, that's part of the lead generation time. And then as soon as we have the conversation, then that's when I ask for a referral. Who do you know who needs to buy or sell a house? And it gets them thinking, and they might tell me, oh, my neighbor down the road is talking about selling his house. Okay, great. Ask your neighbor, John, if it's okay if I can give him a call. And if so, call me with their name and number, and I'll be more than happy to follow up with them. So once he gives me their number, then I jump on the phone. Hey, John, this is Rosalind with ReMax of Pueblo, and I was calling to let you know that Bill down the street gave me your name and number, said you might be interested in selling your house. And so then we start the conversation. Then I let him know I can add him to my client appreciation program. Does he want to be on that? So then I start courting him to possibly, he might be an A+ client that starts sending me lots of referrals. So you see how I just cultivate that?
Mm-hmm.
And I just nurture. And he may not send me any referrals, but I won't know until I start calling and asking.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's a, I love hearing that, because we recently talked with Danielle on last week's call, and her method was kind of, she does an amazing job wowing people and she never asks. And then you just talked about the importance of asking, and both work, right? Because, the one way is, okay, I don't want to do anything to someone that, I wouldn't want people doing to me. But then the other element of it is, if you don't ask, you don't receive, right? Ask and you shall receive.
Yeah.
So talk to me about just that piece of it. Like, if someone out there wants to do that because they feel like that would help their game plan, but they feel uncomfortable about it, but yet they want to do it. What do you say to that person? Like, that element of asking people for that service, or, hey, please refer me. Like, how do you get comfortable doing that? How do you make yourself, kind of force yourself to be okay to do that?
So I know what my skill is, and I know what kind of agent that I am. And so I have the confidence to know that I can help people. So in my mind, I know their friend needs me, because realtors are a dime a dozen. A lot of us work at 100% full time. Some of them work at part time. And so I feel like, and then sometimes I will say this, is that, hey, John, make sure and have Bill call me or give me his name and number, because you don't want your friend to get stuck with a bad agent, do you? And so I feel like I'm not asking them for anything. I'm actually feeling like I'm doing him a service by asking him to have him call me.
Yeah.
Once you change it in your mind, it doesn't become, I'm asking for something that I don't deserve. I'm providing a service that they need, that they don't know they need at the moment.
I love that answer. I absolutely love that answer, because that's the mentality that allows us to kind of do our business in a certain way. Because what you just said right there, it's like the serve element, right? Like, we're here to help people. We're here to serve people. And so when we convince ourselves of that, it makes it easier to ask for that, because you're basically asking people to give you that opportunity to serve and to bless people. People are going to be better off after they've met you and worked with you than they were before. Like, that's kind of the takeaway I get from that. That's awesome. I love that.
I have a question.
Go ahead, Jay.
Yeah, sorry. Just on that topic, for someone who's either a loan officer or a realtor, but they're new, and they don't, I mean, you have a lot of confidence. It comes through the screen, right? It comes through the screen and knocks me upside my head. And it's great, right? I love it. But for someone who's brand new, and maybe you were this confident when you first started, but for someone who's brand new and just doesn't quite have that, that like killer's instinct, kind of that chip on their shoulder that you have, and be able to say something like that to someone, or you actually need to work with me, or you wouldn't want your friend to get stuck with the wrong agent. You have like the numbers and the track record and the probably client reviews and just the raving fans to back all of that up, right? Where if someone like looked you up and realized that, wow, this is literally one of the top agents in the city just called me, right? If someone doesn't feel like they have that, or just starting, what would you say to them to like, what would they say to someone, or how should they carry themselves when they don't have any experience and maybe they don't even feel like they're as good as another agent, for example?
Okay, so that's where the act as if and the fake it till you make it comes in.
Okay.
And I always tell my kids and any agent on my team is put your shoulders back, put your head up high,
Yep.
speak very loud, look into their eyes, and convey passion.
Yep.
Because, just like you said, the confidence just smacks you right in the face. Well, if you're a new agent and you don't have the skill or the track record behind you, you have yourself right in front of them at that moment to let them know that you mean business.
Yep.
And so the more deals that you have under your belt, then of course, your resume is starting to show. But I think it's all about, just putting those shoulders back and just acting as if and acting as if you're a top agent.
Yep.
And right now I have 21 years under my belt, and sometimes I'll convey that to clients. Well, I have 21 years of experience. Well, as a new agent, you don't want to be saying I just got into the business a week ago, because sometimes people say, whoa, okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Do you have a mentor that I can talk to, or do you have,
Right.
So
Yeah.
it's I think it's just showing the passion and just showing the confidence. And even if you don't have the confidence, fake it
Yeah.
until you make it.
We kind of have to.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
Well, and also think about, why are you doing this? Whether it's to help people. My why is my family, my kids. And that's what got me up. So when I got into real estate, I was a single parent and I was barely making ends meet. I went through a divorce and it was just very tough. And financially, it was hard for me to feed my kids. And I got up every single day and I fought for my kids. I fought because I was the mother hen and I needed to take care of my little girls because they were relying on me to do that. So I would get in my car, and I didn't know what I didn't know. I didn't have a mentor. I wasn't part of a team. And I just got in my car. And one thing that really motivated me was music. So I'd get in my car and I'd listen to really upbeat music. And I'm always thinking about, okay, I'm just always thinking, period. So I made things happen. And that first year, I became rookie of the year in my company. And I didn't even know, because I didn't know to look at the numbers. I was just trying to survive. I was in survival mode, just trying to feed my kids. And so then I became, once I got rookie of the year, I was like, whoa, how did I do that? Well, I did it because I was trying to survive. And then I realized, wow, maybe I do have some skills if I just started fine tuning and learning and become more learning based and listening to podcasts and reading books and becoming a better version of myself. And that's when I realized, I have control over what I put in my head, what I do. And that's just the way it all started 21 years ago.
That's incredible. There was a mentor I had some time ago that said something I'll probably never forget. He said that if you're walking with your kids and someone pulled up in an unmarked van and just snatched them and drove off, and then called you and said, you have to close a deal in the next 4 days or else you're never going to see your kids again. Right? That's a terrible graphic. But his point was, you would find a deal like that evening. Yes. Because the motivation is there. You have nothing to lose. You'd be door knocking. You'd be telling everybody. You'd be making a million calls because someone has your kids, right? And so his point was, like, it's just incredible how, if you can figure out the motivation, or whatever you have to do to kind of jerk your brain around it and like get yourself thinking the right way, so you can actually go out there and take the action you have to take to be successful. That's like, we're the ones that are in our own way.
Yes.
right? Like no one else is stopping you. You have the ability to wake up at 3 in the morning if you want,
Mhm.
right? No one's holding a gun to your head saying you have to stay asleep, right? So you have the ability to make 50 calls. You have the ability to tell that person, hey, I'm brand new, sure, but no one hustles harder than I do. So if you want the hardest worker in the business, then that's what you're getting with me, or whatever it takes, because you kind of have to make up for what you don't have in experience and numbers and reviews or whatever with just sheer hard work. And I think if you're consistent enough, there's enough people out there that will buy into that and say, yeah, I'll give this dude a shot. This dude's legit. Because people can feel authenticity, they can feel genuine. Like I can feel how genuine you are and just how much of a um I felt like if I was to hire you to sell our home, you would work really hard and you would market the crap out of this thing. You probably have all these things up your sleeve that you do. Because all that just kind of comes out, right? So I would just say to anyone listening who is brand new, just try to get out of your own way because no one else is stopping you from where you're trying to go and figure out what you have to do on a daily basis, consistency wise. I have one more question, Zoe, and then I don't know how you want to end this thing, but my question was for someone who's a number 5 in the city agent, like a top agent, there's got to be some, things that you do that other agents just don't do because successful people do what unsuccessful people aren't willing to do, right?
Yeah.
So what are some of the services that you do for clients, your listings, your buyers, that maybe none of us have ever heard of, that we just say, wow, that kind of sets you apart?
So, and I did want to make a comment really quick on what you had talked about
Yeah.
as far as the kids. So if you go out and buy a car, I was told that if you want to be successful very, very fast is go buy a car and go buy a house, because then you're forced to go sell a house because you need to pay for these items, right?
That's awesome. Go leverage yourself.
Yes. So the answer to your question, what do we do differently? So I'm all about, I'm an out of the box thinker. What can I do to set myself apart? Because I'm not part of the masses. I feel like we're capable of so much more, but what is it that's gonna wow the clients? And I've owned a Lexus car, and when I took in my Lexus to the car dealership, I was wowed by their customer service. And they provide snacks for you, they give you a loaner car, you walk in there and they roll out the red carpet for you.
And I've heard that before, by the way.
Yeah. And so I thought, you know what? That's exactly what we're going to do. We're all-star agents. We need to provide all-star service. So pre-COVID, clients and pre-CTME contract writing software where everybody does everything online now, clients would come into our office. We'd offer them snacks. We'd offer them bottled water, Coke, soda, whatever they wanted. And we would give them that personal all-star service touch. So we still do that to a certain extent. Now we don't have as many clients coming into our office anymore, but just letting them know, sometimes Amber, my assistant, will just send out a text message. Hey, it's Amber with the All-Star team. Just wanted to congratulate you for going under contract. We're so excited.
By the way.
Just the little personal touches that just sets us apart from other agents.
Yeah.
Just the wow factor. The wow factor, we're taking it to another level.
Yeah.
Yeah. That is like the best name ever.
It is amazing.
This is Amber with the
awesome.
All-Star team. Like, how do you even? That's incredible.
It's like everybody's dream in sports is to make the All-Star team.
Yeah.
Like that's the name of your team. That just says it all.
And do you want to know what my car license plate says?
Yes. It probably says something with All-Star on there.
It says All-Star.
All-Star.
I love it.
Awesome. I love
Brilliant.
it.
Branding.
I love it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Love that.
That's awesome. Yeah, so final question here. If anyone's watching, if you have any questions, we'll kind of go into a Q&A after this. But yeah, my final question for you, Rosalind, is what would you say is kind of the next step for you guys, you and your team? I guess tell us, I'm curious to know actually, because you looks like you're big on numbers. What was your numbers for last year? Like how many closings did you have? What's your goal for this year as far as how many closings you want to have? And then just kind of what's in the future for the All-Star team? What are you guys trying to accomplish?
And then also sell side versus buy side too.
Yeah.
Okay. So, so last year, 2020, our goal was to hit 20 million. We missed it by 1.6 million. So considering COVID, considering cancer, we actually did pretty well, and I'm proud of the team. And of course, you know, Amber is such a great assistant. She just has such a great personality. She just, you know, she's our behind the scenes, keeping everything together. But we did 89 transactions last year. And for Pueblo, we're a smaller market.
Yeah.
About a year and a half ago, we were 130,000 average price range. Right now, we're up to 260,000 average price range.
Wow.
Yeah, we jumped up tremendously.
What was the difference in years for those two?
About a year and a half.
Wow.
Market is just, I mean,
That's insane.
Yeah, it's just insane. Yeah, the prices are just climbing so fast. For this year, our goal is to hit 25 million with just Minnie and I on the team, just us two agents. As far as building on the team, I don't think we're going to build this year. We're not looking for an agent because, you know, it does take time. It takes time out of my schedule to train and mentor. And we haven't found the right fit yet. We're very particular on who we bring on the team. They have to be all-star quality. So we're going to take our time. We're going to be slow to hire. And of course, you know how they say quick to fire if they're not a fit, just let them go.
Right.
So we're planning on 25 million this year. That would put us at the ReMax production level of Titan, which is about $750,000 gross commission income. And that's our goal for this year. Next year is going to be the Diamond Club, which is over $1 million of production, but that's going to take an additional couple of team members on the team.
Yeah.
And we do want to be number one. So breaking it down on a monthly basis, our monthly goals are different than our yearly goal because I feel like, how do you eat the elephant one bite at a time? So yes, we have 25 million realistic for this year, but my goal for me alone, I should be producing about 2.2 million a month. Minnie, on the other hand, should be about 800,000 as a new agent. So if we hit 3 million as a team between her and I a month, that puts us at 36 million for the year, which is over $1 million of gross commission income. Is that possible for us this year? I think it's going to be it's probably not possible without another team agent or another agent on the team. But it's good, lofty goals to set for yourself on a monthly basis, because if we consistently hit that, we're going to surpass the 25 million that we've set for the goal of 2021. So as far as units, I would say we're going to be about 110, 120 units for this year, which is a lot of transactions for our assistant to handle, and she's phenomenal. Listing versus buying side, I'm more of the lister. I prefer to work with sellers. Minnie likes to work with buyers. So it's probably going to be about 75% listings, 25% buyers based off the goals that we've set.
So if you're selling someone's home and they need to buy, do you just send them to someone? Like, how do you end up with 75% and then 25%? Isn't it usually the same client needs both if you're listing for them?
Yeah, I work with a lot of investor clients. So I sell them. I work with a lot of investors that do flips.
Gotcha.
And then we also do flips too. But what I do is I love listing. So they'll buy occasionally, but they're not. And then right now, obviously, the market is, if we have a client that's just a normal seller, yes, we do have to find them something. So that's where Minnie would step in. Or if they prefer that I work with them because we have that relationship and they don't want Minnie, then I would work them in that respect. But yeah, gotcha. I mean, numbers they're not set in stone, but that's kind of, I want to be a team.
Yeah. That's interesting about the market too, Zoe, because I know when you and your wife had rentals in Pueblo, and then my other brother had rentals down there too. And that was a few years back. Everyone was saying it's a renter's market. It's not really a active market. But from what Rosalind's saying, it seems like it's started booming. I mean, it's more of a
Yeah.
yeah.
From what Rosalind just said, we might need to think of selling our properties in Pueblo.
Yes.
Yeah,
Do.
for sure.
I
Okay.
keep telling everybody you need to cash out. If you're an investor, you have rentals. If you're moving out of state and you need to sell, now's the best time to sell. I have people that are selling and just renting just to cash out on their properties.
Yeah.
I didn't realize those
Yeah,
things.
I'm curious too, now that you mentioned that, we'll try to wrap up here and let you get back to your day, but just one last thought. What would you say about the market? Like, this market is crazy to me. I don't understand, how does a pandemic not slow it down? Like, maybe it did for a little bit, then it came back up and it's robust and values are just going out the roof. Like, what do you tell people when they ask you, hey, what's your forecast of the market? Is it ever are we ever gonna have a correction? Like what's your thoughts on just, for the state of Colorado and your area, just the market in general?
So I feel like the market is going to continue this way for at least 4 to 5 years is what I keep telling my clients. So if they need to buy, they need to buy now because interest rates are great. Prices are affordable, but the longer that they wait, they're going to price themselves out of a house.
Right.
So I tell them, let's not find your dream home right now, but let's find you 4 walls and a roof so you can ride the appreciation.
Yeah.
And then in a couple of years, if you decide we can sell, and then you can buy your dream home or you can build your dream home.
Yeah.
So, and right now it's a professionals market in terms of realtors and loan officers. I feel you have to step up your game. There's a ton of agents thinking, or there's a ton of people getting into real estate thinking, oh, the market's so great. I keep hearing it on the news. I'm going to get my real estate license and I'm just going to have money dropped in my lap. It's not happening because everybody in this market, as far as a realtor, we're fighting for the same piece of pie. There's unfortunately low inventory. So we're writing multiple offers. We're competing with 15, 20 offers on the table. We're not getting that property. So we have to duplicate it and go to the next property and go to the next property and go to the next property. And so we're working double time as realtors. So we have to fine tune our skills. So what's going to set me apart? How do I write my contracts with the appraisal gaps? The escalation clauses, the inspection piece, how do I refine my skill? Well, that's where the training comes in. So that's where Minnie and I on the team, we're consistently doing Zoom calls. We're learning about reverse mortgages. We're learning about all this stuff so that we could be a better realtor for our clients. And the other agents that are getting into the business, we're not worried about them. So it's the market. I mean, it's going to be like this. It's going to be crazy busy. And the fact that Colorado is just a great place to live. We have all these out-of-staters coming in. Then you have the Denver people moving down south or cashing out on their properties, coming down south. It's affordable in Colorado Springs. Pueblo is kind of like the undiscovered town of Colorado because it's so affordable. Cost of living is great. We have the lake. We have mountains. we're only an hour and a half from Denver. So I feel like people are finally discovering Pueblo. And so we're going to be continually in a great, in this busy market for at least 4 to 5 years. So
yeah,
that's good.
Interesting. Where is the cash coming from in general?
So people that are coming in from out of state, they're cashing out. And so they're coming in and they're like a kid in a candy store when they come to Pueblo.
Yeah, I can imagine.
They're like,
selling high, buy low.
Yeah, I'm not taking 1 property, but I'll take 2,
Yeah.
because they have to do that. And so it's, you just see all these transplants from other states coming in, realizing that Colorado's, Pueblo's a nice town.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Cool.
Great stuff.
Gold nuggets all day, Rosalind. Nice job.
Yeah, it's a great call today. Thanks so much for sharing everything you shared. We've got a ton of notes here and a ton of mental notes as well. I think we pretty much have I don't think we have any viewers. If there's any viewers that have any questions, let us know. But we'll go ahead and just allow people to post on the group, the Facebook group. For those of you who are not a part of our Facebook Mastermind group, just search us at Realtor Lender Mastermind on the Facebook group and join us. I have a lot of great information, a lot of great calls like this. But yeah, I think that's going to do it for our call today. Rosalind, again, thank you so much. You're awesome.
Thank you.
Excited to have learned so much and heard much about your story. Just appreciate you sharing with us. Thank you.
Sure. Well, thank you. It was great.
Thanks, Rosalind.
Yeah, thank you. You're welcome.
All righty. We'll see everyone next week then.
Yeah. Talk to you soon.
All right. See ya.